Joining us now from Los Angeles is Hatem Dhiab from Gerber Kawasaki to discuss how much of Nvidia is AI hype, or is this the real thing? Hey Hatem, thank you so much for joining us on The Pulse this afternoon.
Hi Danielle, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we've got Nvidia, which not only is the top performing sort of NASDAQ stock up over 100%, but in the aftermarket, its market cap has almost expanded up to $1 trillion on the back of these quarterly results. Is this the real deal? Were the results that good, or is this just a case of them mentioning AI 38 or 40 odd times in the conference call and short sellers getting caught effectively with their pants down?
No, I don't think it's hype at all. I actually, when I saw the earnings report, when I looked at the guidance, I thought it was a typo when they put $11 billion for next quarter in revenue. Everyone on the street was expecting $7 billion. So they basically guided 65% above what the street believes. The AI story is a very, very real with Nvidia. And the demand for their chips is just amazing. So I think they're delivering quite well.
Okay, can we break down the results a little bit so that people understand where the growth is coming from? Because it's I think for Australians, we typically don't invest. The knowledge base is in with financials and mining stocks. Chip manufacturers is something sometimes people find it hard to get their heads around. So in terms of what is Nvidia doing that makes it so special, and which is the particularly strong growth engine for this stock?
Sure. So basically, Nvidia designs chips. They're called graphics processing units, GPUs, and these are the chips that you need to use to be able to process all these AI computing needs. So think of ChatGPT not being able to be ran unless you have Nvidia chips in your data centers. So this whole story is really about data centers and companies, large tech companies, needing to upgrade their computing processing, and the only way to do that is to use these Nvidia chips. They're called GPUs.
Right, and so these are the chips that are used in these massive data centers that are continuing to proliferate as companies also continue to migrate to the cloud. Is that correct?
Yeah, so exactly. So if you think of this, the ChatGPT or the Bard from Google is basically a killer app that's been created that now we see how important AI is going to be for everything that we do, really from computing in general, but also from biotech and really any business process. We're now start using AI, and as a result, every data centers, every company has to start figuring out how they get this computing power. And Nvidia is really the only game in town at this point. And nobody knew how big the demand or how fast this demand is going to scale up. And now we know it's happening really, really fast.
Yeah. So if we try and strip out potentially what are the risks to the stories, because it's obviously a massive earnings upgrade that Jensen Huang has put out there overnight, and it doesn't seem to be all hype. But what are the risks? I did read that Wang was talking about losing the China market, the geopolitical risk coming out between the US and America. And we saw China banning Micron's products the other day. So maybe we could scope out, given that it's not the cheapest stock, not that it ever is the cheapest stock, but what are the current risks if you don't hold it and you're looking to buy it? Will there be another opportunity in the next month or so?
There is always going to be another opportunity. The stock is trading at 65 forward earnings right now, so it's very, very expensive. It was a 750 billion market cap before 25% jump today. So it's really an expensive stock no matter how you look at it. However, Nvidia was already restricted in selling their most advanced chips to China. So I think the China story, or even if we have more decoupling with China, I don't think that's going to impact them as much, because we have to think more so about the fact that there is roughly about $1 trillion in data centers across the world. They have now to upgrade their chips from the current CPU chips to the new GPU chips that Nvidia makes. So I think that's really, when you think long term, you have to see that this is not just something that's going to happen over the next quarter or 2 quarters, but really over the next 5 years or so. And I think that's why people are so excited after this earnings call.
Yeah, I've noticed some of the technology experts comparing this to having the secular significance of the mobile phone and actually being exponentially larger in terms of a market than what has effectively come through with, our intelligent mobile phones.
Yeah. I mean, it is an iPhone moment. It is absolutely that. I mean, AI is not new. AI has existed for 5 years plus. But I think the Chat GPT, the way that now that we know how we can use it, we can all wrap our hands around the idea that this is really going to enable us to do so many new things. And as a result, the excitement is there, and also the dollars, the investment is following. And I think that's really where things are going.
In terms of potential competitors or anyone that gets close to Nvidia, are there any other companies? Is AMD a possible, I suppose, flow-on beneficiary of these results?
AMD is probably the closest competitor to them. Designing chips is a process that takes billions of dollars and millions of hours of investment. So it's not really something that you can just get into. There is a lot of startups that are trying to design embedded using AI to design AI chips. NVIDIA does that too. But I think what you see with NVIDIA is besides having the top of the line chips and really the best, it's also the most cost effective product on the market, and also the most reliable one. They have a lot of other tools. They have software to go with it. They have the ability to help big tech companies within their cloud infrastructures to put these AI processes in place. So they really offer kind of an all solution for anything that needs to be to process AI. So as a result, I think the competitors are just not there yet.
Not there yet. And in terms of divisionally, so the data centers is really the growth engine at the moment, the hyperscalers. Gaming and also, cryptocurrencies. A couple of years back, I remember the share price was absolutely smashed because, the gaming crypto market, fell in the proverbial toilet. Yeah. Is that still a potential risk for their earnings streams, or have they diversified significantly enough now to things like the data centers, the AI chips, to make those divisions not as important?
Yeah, I think crypto was not really a focus for Nvidia. It just happened that their GPUs were used to mine crypto, and then when there was the crypto hype, Nvidia shares moved. This is really a focus for them. The AI story is something that they are really focusing on, and data centers is something that's going to play itself out. Gaming is really how Nvidia started. With these GPUs, their graphics unit. So basically, they help you process video much better. So it really was how they got started, and then they realized that besides processing, video games, this could be used for a lot more than that. And I think that's how it's going to play out going forward.
So for investors, is Nvidia a bit of a must-have in the portfolio in the same way as an Apple and a Microsoft are viewed by many investors? Maybe not at these share prices, but is it one that investors really should think about buying and putting in the bottom drawer as part of that secular theme?
That's a really good question. I think it's an under-owned stock at this point, but and if you especially if you think of the indexes, so you're gonna have to see a lot of people that did not own the stock or didn't have it in their portfolios will have to start thinking about this because chips in general were very cyclical, but I think with this new evolution, we're starting to chips or at least GPU chips are going to become really the new oil if you want to think of it that way, and Nvidia is going to be the leader.
Fantastic. Well, before you go, I have to ask about the proverbial debt ceiling because, reading your notes, it seems as though that is all America is talking about at the moment. What's it feel like on the ground?
It's stupid. It's just silly. I think everyone. America is the only country that has this problem. We have to pay our bills. This is money that's already been spent. But unfortunately, if we don't get this deal done, it's going to have catastrophic effects on really on all asset prices. So hopefully, these politicians really can come together and really put a deal, and then they can really talk about spending later on. But ultimately, this is just an unforced error, basically.